Hello, it's Thursday, July 9th, back in the shop working on the White Oak bookcase. This video we're going to talk about hardware that's going to connect the cases together and the hardware that holds the crown molding cap onto the top section of the bookcase. It's the same method I'm using to hold the crown molding to the lower section. Anyway, I'll show you what's going on here. Here is the cap that you saw in the last video. It's all completed and set on top of the bookcase in the position that I want it. It's all bolted down nice and tight. I'm going to show you how I did that. I started off with a plan of using these carriage bolts, and they were supposed to go, if you remember the other video, into these cleats up here. So they'd go into the cleat and go all the way up, and then you'd put a bolt in on the top. Problem is, the carriage bolt sticks out. Once it's tight, it's not flush with that cleat. So I changed my mind, and I countersunk that hole. And then I went to the same size thread, a 1/4 inch 20 thread, but this time it's got a countersunk head on it with a Phillips head and a much lower profile nut that goes onto it. So that's what I used for all of those pieces that are bolting it down there. You can see one there, and there you can see the countersunk head up into there. And if you could feel up in here, you'd see that nice flat screw. There's enough room to get your fingers in there to get that tightened down. So that's how the cap is bolted on, and I'm very happy with it. It's nice and tight. All the lines came out really pretty well. I'm very happy with how the lines came out. Now I want to talk about the hardware that connects the cases together. I started off by just screwing these cases together, and here's sort of a hidden screw down in there. But I decided after a while that if for whatever reason these cases had to be moved more than once, that screw could come apart. So I wanted something that was a little more durable. So I came up with this design of this set of hardware. So what we've got here is a 3/8 inch rod that I've cut to length, and then I drilled holes on each end and tapped them for, again, these are smaller than 1/4 20. I think these are 10/24. But anyway, whatever size the thread is, that's how they work. And then to bolt the cabinets together, carefully, I made a little jig that it's lined up inside and outside. So the out would go like here, and I would set that in there like that, and I would drill a large pilot hole with a Forstner bit just to get a hole slightly so I get the pilot hole started. Then I would switch to a very small drill. I drilled it all the way through, and then a larger drill, a 3/8 inch drill, until that pin that is now buried in here would go all the way through. So I think you understand how it's going to work. So I've got one on each side. That's how these are all being bolted together. It's kind of fun to be able to make your own hardware. Sometimes you have to order it and it takes a day or two to come in. To make those washers, I had washers that are nice on the outside diameter, but the inside diameter was too small. So I made a little jig, set it up in the milling machine here, so it's all centered under there, and when I turn this on, that'll come down and that'll turn out the hole to the right size that I want. As far as the long pins themselves, I cut them to size a little long on this bandsaw, and then we take them over to the lathe and we face them off to the size that we want, to the length that we want, drill out the hole from either end, And then the final operation here is to tap the threads, which you can see I've got, this one's already set up, it's already been tapped. So you turn it that way to tap the thread. Otherwise you back it off, pull it off. And with one hand, I hope I don't drop it. We're almost there. That's a deep thread. Well, anyway, that's how you thread it into the lathe. So it's helpful to have the machinery to make things in the shop. Saves ordering online, which sometimes takes quite a bit of time just to find the right thing. And even then, you might have to modify the hardware for special situations like this. Anyway, so that's the crown molding. It's all set up now on the top. It's all bolted down. Very, very sturdy. That just won't come off. And I didn't even torque those screws down really, really hard. So I'm very, very happy with the way that turned out. So thanks for checking in, and we'll have another update when there's something else to report on.